Welcome to Beyond the Campfire, the Dead by Daylight podcast, where we dive into the stories, secrets, and strategies behind the horrors and heroes within the fog. I'm Dogbomb, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host Lemon. Lemon, hello, how are you?
Hi, Dogbomb. I'm good. Thank you. How about you?
Excellent. I've been away for a few days, and I have been doing my passion, which is magic. And I've had a fantastic time. I haven't played much DBD, but I've done a lot of magic, so that makes me happy.
That's amazing. Well, I have also not played a lot of DBD because you have been gone almost all
You can
week.
still play DBD without me.
I've played a bit on my own, but it's just not the same.
Do you remember what question you asked last week, Lemon?
I asked how many Halloween movies people had watched.
How many have you watched now? Have you watched any more?
No, I haven't had access to any more Halloween movies. So,
You should get you some more Halloween movies. Is that what you're asking? This is not the time to ask. I can get you more Halloween movies if you need me to.
we can't talk about that here.
Okay. Well, I asked. My answer to that question, by the way, is I think I've only ever seen the first one. I think.
Amateur.
I am a bit of an amateur. Maybe I should watch more. Do you recommend them?
Not really.
My question was, what do you think about skill checks in the game? Is it a favourite part? Is it a rubbish part? Do you wish it was different?
I don't mind skill checks at all. They're just there. I do like when we play against the doctor and there is like a bit of spice to the skill checks when they go opposite way or move a bit or but I don't want it to be that like that in every game.
I like the spice. I
I
do
like
like
the
the
spice once in a while, but if I eat spicy all the time, it's just the new normal.
I kind of wish there was more killers that did that, though, like the Skull
Yeah.
Merchant drone puzzle and stuff. Like, occasionally I'd like something a bit different on my skill checks.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. But I
Yeah.
I don't want it to be every single
Okay.
game.
Interesting.
Like sometimes you just want plain yogurt with strawberries that is sweet and nice without any spice.
I don't put spice on my strawberries. So, have you played any Dead by Daylight at all this week?
I had a few games on my own. There was the good games, the bad games. Like I had a game yesterday morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning. That was probably my best DVD game all week. Because even though we were 8 strangers not talking to each other, we were playing as a team, and that was pretty cool.
Today's episode's about the Hag, and I decided to play an Adept Hag game and thrashed the team. I will talk about that later, but I got a 4K, and it was quite solid 4K as well. And I've actually learned a little bit about some of the add-ons and things for Hag. So when we get to the add-ons, I will tell you exactly how I managed to get my Adept. They were a good team as well.
I feel like the Hag is a rare killer to get.
Yeah.
It can be weeks and weeks between I see a Hag in game.
I quite liked how I played her the other day, and I'm thinking now maybe I should lock in on Hag and play a few more Hag games.
Are you a Hag main now?
Maybe. We'll talk about it later. There's been loads of Dead by Daylight news while I've been gone. I've seen it coming through, but I have not had a chance to really look at it in any depth. But lots of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. The big news is All Kill is coming back, which is the Tricksters chapter. It's coming back in a big way. It's coming back with a new survivor. It's coming back with a brand new map. There is a PTB being released. Other things I've seen is there are rumors of a female trickster being released, like a female
Oh,
trickster outfit. Yeah, that is unconfirmed, by the way. The trickster's getting a massive rework. There's going to be something to do with style.
yeah, style points. So for every style point you get, you like level up.
I don't know. I just saw that it rewards you being accurate with your blades, and it makes you faster and stuff. All of his add-ons are being revised as well. Massive. Lots of news. You watched the live stream, right?
Yes, I did. And I'm so excited for the new map. It looks so cool and so different in a way, like in many ways, but
So it looks like neon and Tokyo, and yeah, very cool.
yeah, I think more Seoul,
Hmm.
South
Hmm.
Korea, but
Hmm.
it's just cool. And there you can go inside and there's the outdoors areas and it has a bit of everything.
I will look forward to the PTB. By the time this is released, the PTB will be out. So people kind of listening to this could comment and let us know what they're thinking of the look. We will obviously comment on it next week. But yeah, it looks really, really interesting. Couple of extra things that I noticed from the news. And again, if I've missed anything or any of that, feel free to correct me or stop me or add. But I saw there was the fog vials are getting a buff. So they're going to be thicker and they are going to be more useful in the game. They are a bit rubbish at the moment.
Yeah, there will be changes to them. Um, but I feel like on the live stream, well, they confirmed there will be changes and it will be like a thicker fog, but it just didn't sound like it's actually going to make that much of a difference.
We'll see. I think it
Yeah.
would be a shame for them not to buff or make them more interesting because they did add a new item and that is interesting. They should really make something of it. The other thing I saw that interested me was we're getting customizable aura colors, so you can make the generators, the hooks, anything that shows an aura, have a customizable color, a bit like the scratch marks add-on, which I liked a lot. It's good for um, accessibility, so that's a great good thing.
Yeah. For now, it's the killer that can do that. I don't think the option is there for the survivors yet.
Oh, okay,
To be able to change like the color of the gens or where they can
okay.
vault over. But they did confirm it was something they were thinking about.
I think that will probably happen if it comes over well.
Mm,
It would make sense.
yeah.
A big thing is all of the perks. Every single perk is being given a new description.
Yes, a short one. It's
That's
going to be
huge.
super, super short.
That is huge.
So all the flavor text is gone.
Is that a good thing?
It depends how spicy you want it.
Probably, yeah. It's probably a good thing. I mean, the flavor text is interesting in a way if you're into your lore and that, but
But when you just want the information, it's a lot of words to get
yeah,
through.
from what I've seen, it just gives you the info that gives you the information, and then
Mm,
you can have a pop out to the side which will tell you what the keywords in the information tell you. So if it says exhausted, you can have a little pop out that explains what exhausted means in the game, which I think is really cool. Because it means if you do know what those things mean, you don't need the pop up. And if you don't, or if you forget, you can pop it up and just remind yourself, which is cool. What else did I notice? Estimated queue times are going to come to 1 versus 4. So a bit like in 2 versus 8 at the moment, it shows you how long the queue is. That is going to come to 1 versus 4.
that's cool.
That is cool. Little tweak, but it's a good tweak.
It's
And
it's nice to know if there's time for a toilet break.
yeah, and the last thing that I noticed was Oh, it just happened. So they have extended 2 versus 8. It was
Yes.
supposed to be ending on the 24th of February, Tuesday, which is yesterday in terms of the podcast.
Mm,
They have extended it to March the 3rd.
1 week, yes.
So that's cool for those who like 2 versus 8.
Indeed.
Eh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, you're back
I
now.
don't
You missed a week. That's
I
why we
did
got
miss a
them
week.
to extended.
Oh, did you ask for them for me? Oh, thank you.
Yes, I was like, oh
Thank
my
you,
god,
thank you.
Dogbomb have missed the whole week because of his passion. Could you please? And then they were like, oh, for Dogbomb, sure.
Well, that's very nice of them. I didn't realize they'd done that for me.
And me.
And you, and you. Well, this week we are going to talk about someone who represents control over chaos. We're going to be talking about the Hag.
So this week we're going to talk about The Hag. The Hag came to DVD on the 8th of December 2016 as a part of the third chapter of Flesh and Mud. What we know is that the Hag is sort of a witch and that she is African American. This week we are going back to the in-game bio and the tomes, which I'm really excited about after the last 2 episodes. So we know from the information we get that the Hag is 16 years old when this thing happens. And we know that there is a swamp, which makes me think this happens in like Mississippi or Louisiana, in that area, with the witchcraft and being African American. Lisa grew up in a quiet village where old traditions were kept alive. As a child, Lisa was taught to draw charms for safety and good fortune. Lisa loved to look at her grandmother's old books, and her grandmother had several of the books written in an unknown language with strange symbols. Lisa decides to draw one of the symbols on her textbook, just for a bit of good luck. Just as her grandmother tells her not to play with powers she does not understand, she tells Lisa that she can attract misfortune to herself and others. So she has to stay away from the books. Lisa finds her grandmother a bit funny. So she tells her grandmother that she does not really believe in the superstitions nonsense, and there is no witches and no cannibals. All Lisa wanted was a bit of luck for her algebra test at school. Her grandmother picks up Lisa's textbook and looks at it. She tells Lisa that the last time she used that symbol, it was to make a cannibal into a twisted swamp tree. Lisa tries not to laugh at the story and keeps listening about cannibals and missing children. When her grandmother is done, Lisa gives her a kiss and tells her not to worry. She will not turn into a swamp tree or meet a bunch of cannibals. Even though Lisa thinks she does not believe in the dark magic and symbols, she still feels like the symbol on her textbook, it kind of works, like a placebo effect. Her grades are going up a bit, and this makes Lisa's best friend Pam want to try the same thing. She grabs Lisa's book and tries to copy the symbol on her English books, several times. Lisa doesn't like this and gets concerned. She tells Pam not to play with powers she does not understand. Pam just laughs at Lisa and tells her it's no big deal. She just wants to pass English. Pam is begging Lisa for more symbols and charms to help her with a test. It's for her English class where she does not like the teacher. A teacher Pam makes fun of for being overweight and just really, really boring. Lisa refused to let Pam look in any of her grandmother's book. Pam has been digging into her skin with a toothpick, making a symbol on her arm. As she asked Lisa if she had heard about the woman that got crushed by a truck near the school, Lisa said no. So, as Lisa did not know about the woman, Pam drags her for a few blocks to where the accident happened. The smell is horrible, and Pam points out blood and clumps of hair on the road while making fun of the woman. Lisa grabs Pam and tells her not to make fun of the dead, but Pam ignores her, as the woman is not around to get offended anymore. Lisa's grandmother has told her that spirits can linger around, especially if they don't want to leave yet. Lisa really does not want a dark force to follow her for the rest of her life. Pam's English teacher died of unknown reasons, and Pam is not getting the test. This makes Pam dance with joy, and she shows her hand to Lisa, and it's covered in ink symbols. Pam tells her that it is the best luck in the whole world and thanks Lisa. Lisa closes her eyes and she really wants to yell at Pam for being so careless with what none of them fully understand yet. She hopes that Pam's teacher is no longer around to watch Pam dancing. As respect for the teacher, the students are at the funeral. The coffin is carried towards them, and they can see that it's heavy. And this makes Pam lean over to Lisa and whisper that it's fun, that she is so lucky, and the men carrying the coffin is the unlucky ones. Lisa tells Pam to quit it. Then Lisa gets a feeling that she should step away from Pam. She gets an image in her mind of a lightning that is striking Pam. Lisa knows that her grandmother would say that Pam has tempted fate by laughing at others' misfortune. Even though Lisa still not completely believes in her grandmother's superstitions, she discreetly steps to the side and looks up at the dark clouds, waiting for the lightning to strike Pam. Then, in the tomb, we see a final clip of Lisa's memories. Here we see the men carrying the teacher's coffin, and they come closer towards the grave. But then one of the men steps on a large stone that makes all the men get out of balance and slip with the coffin. This makes the coffin fly forward and it lands on top of Pam. The only part of Pam we can see is the palm of her hand. That shows a symbol drawn in dark ink. And from the sounds in the clip, Pam is definitely dead. So back to the in-game bio, because one night on her way home through the woods, there was a bad, bad storm. The winds were howling, and her dress was soaked and stuck to her skin. She lost her footing in the wet mud, and she fell and hurt her head on a rock. She struggled to stay conscious as she saw some dark shapes getting closer to her from between the trees. This is the last thing Lisa remembers from the wood. Lisa woke up in a cellar where she is chained to the wall. She had been kidnapped. The cellar is dimly lit, and she could see that she was not alone. There were others, and they had big open wounds covered with flies. The next day, the kidnappers returned and used rusty blades to carve chunks of flesh from the prisoners' bodies, all the way down to the bones. Lisa saw that when someone had been targeted, they did not survive for long. This made Lisa decide to survive. She starved, she was infected, mutilated after weeks of torture. Her arms got so thin that she could pull them out of the chains. All she could think of was to go home, home to her town. But she could not move her body as she had become way too weak. On the floor, she drew a symbol she knew from home. This made her feel a dark hunger inside, and she decided she wanted revenge. Later, when the village search party found the dark old cellar, they found the rotten corpses. They saw the charm that were drawn in blood on the floor. Lisa was never found, and the village never became the same again.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That story. That's a good story. I just watched while you were talking through there. I watched the video that you talked about. We should share this on the
Yeah.
on the socials. The thing that I noticed was the symbol that's on the hand
Yeah?
is not the symbol that is drawn on the ground in the game. It's not the same symbol. It's a different symbol, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it means something different to
Maybe.
what the symbol on the ground means, because the symbol on the ground does very specific things in the game, which we will
Oh,
talk about.
tell us.
So the hag, Lisa. The hag is all about preparation, territory control, and punishment. She places what are called phantasm traps on the ground, which are triggered when survivors step near them. It creates a mud clone of her and allows her to teleport to the trap's location, generally. Unlike the trapper, it does not physically stop you. It lets you run on, and then she appears exactly where you don't want to see her. Her strength isn't in chases. It's all about area denial and hook defense. And once she's established her web, survivors are no longer playing a normal game of Dead by Daylight. They're navigating a minefield. The Hag was the first killer in Dead by Daylight, whose memento mori is in third person. so changed the whole look of the game. All Moris now are in third person. All the early ones are in first person. She does have the longest Mori as well in the game. It is 16 seconds long. She's also the first killer in the game to not attack with a weapon, but with her claws, a massive claw. And she is also the first killer whose perks are destructible and introduces totems into the game, um, which are fascinating. And we'll talk about those totems in just a moment. A fun little side note on the hag. In the early stages of developing her power, it had a temporary name and a funny description. And the temporary name was Phantom Trap, and the description is, and I'm hoping that this is where the descriptions are going in the new update. Scare the dude, teleport to the thing, which is how I like to describe most of the perks and things. When we're in a game and somebody goes, Dogbomb, what does this perk do? I can go, yeah, scare the dude and teleport to the thing. Or that's how we kind of talk to each other in Swifts. So her unique power is called the Blackened Catalyst. She starts with 10 phantasm traps in her inventory. And if you do more than 10, it will replace the first one that you placed. So you will constantly go around a big cycle. You press the button and you will draw a muddy sign on the ground, which looks like a big triangle, and it will arm the trap. Anyone who enters the area of effect, they will trip the trap, and a mud phantasm will spawn. When they spawn it, the camera of the survivor will yank towards the trap, which is very disorientating. And it also gives you a fake terror radius, so you don't know if it is the real hag or not until the hag teleports across, which we'll talk about in a moment. Survivors can prevent tripping the trap by either crouching into the trap area, or they can interact with props while inside the area, or they can remove the trap by wiping it away for 4 seconds by crouching above it and wiping it away. Teleportation happens after the trap has been triggered. The hag can press a special button to teleport across to it, and they will take place of the phantasm. They have to be within 48 meters of the traps in order for that to happen. If there are multiple traps tripped, you choose by aiming towards a specific trap. Way back in the day, before our time, Lemon, back in patch 6.70 or before, the only way of getting rid of a trap was by shining a flashlight on it, which sounds wild now because, like, what if there isn't a flashlight in the game? Sucks to be you, I guess. I sort of wish they'd bring it back. I do like all this old
I
early
have a
game.
question.
Yeah, go on.
Has there always been chests in the game?
Oh, good question. I actually don't know.
We need to look into that for next week then,
Yeah.
because maybe there was an option to get a flashlight.
Or maybe somebody can leave a comment and let us know if you do know. That would be good. She has some very interesting add-ons. She has the usual list of add-ons, which extend her teleportation rate, make her mud phantasm stay around for longer, reveal auras of survivors, etc., etc. But at the top end, she has some interesting ones. She has 2 Iris. The first of which is the waterlogged shoe. Her default movement speed is a lot quicker. If survivor steps within the range of the trap, they are hindered by 9%, but you cannot teleport to traps. So you're much quicker, they're much slower if they're next to your traps, but you can no longer teleport to them. Works a little bit more like Trapper, original Trapper, I guess. Her other area is the Mint Rag. The Mint Rag allows you to teleport to any untripped Phantasm trap anywhere in the environment and has a cooldown of 10 seconds. That can be good because it can allow you to teleport almost anywhere on the map and surprise people with that. I have played against some excellent hags who run that well. The other interesting add-on is the Rusty Shackles. It's purple, and it that suppresses any indicator that trap has been tripped, and means that the mud phantasms don't pop up. That can be terrifying. I'm sure you've gone up against that one, Lemon. I've definitely gone up against that one, where you don't even realize that you've tripped a trap, and suddenly
Yeah,
you're being
definitely.
yanked off a you're being yanked off a generator or off a totem.
Happened once or twice.
And the last one, the last purple one, is the Scarred Hand, and this is the one that I ran for to get my 4K. Because I read it and I was like, "This sounds rubbish," but actually, it's really good. Um, it makes it so that you can't walk through a trap, and you can't walk through the pop up either. You can't teleport to the traps anymore, and it gives you 300 bonus blood points in deviousness, but you can't no longer teleport to traps. I use this along with the perks. All of the perks are totem related, and I put my traps down in front of the totems. It meant that survivors couldn't walk through the totems to clean the totems without first either wiping out my trap. But as soon as they do that, you're alerted, or or they had to just stand and look at my mud version um, and wait for it to go to get rid of my totems. They didn't get rid of a single totem during the game. It worked really well for me. I got 4K. So yeah, Scarred Hand, very interesting.
How many times in this episode of the podcast have you now told us that you got a 4K?
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, Lennon. I'm gonna sing about this forever. I don't play killer that often. I'm
Can
gonna tell you a
anybody
couple.
comment in the comments, like, how many kills did Dogbomb get with the hag?
Got 4. I got 4. Just in case you are counting and you've lost count, I did get 4. But let me tell you about the perks, because the perks are interesting and actually did allow me to get the 4K. So the hags, 3 perks are all hexes, and the first in alphabetical order is Hex Devour Hope. A big one, a biggie in the world of Dead by Daylight. People talk about Devour Hope a lot because it's quite unique in how it works. It lights up a totem at the start of the trial. It curses survivors straight away. When a survivor is unhooked and the killer is 24 meters or more away from the unhook, it gains a token, up to the maximum of 5 tokens. 2 tokens, the killer is given a haste boost of 5%, so the killer is suddenly faster. 3 tokens, every single survivor in the map is exposed. 1 hit and they are downed. And that's when it starts to get very scary. Then at that point, it's generally a scramble for everyone to find the totem. In my game, I was blocking the totems. I managed to get a 4K, just saying. At 5 tokens, you have unlocked the kill ability. If a survivor is on the ground, you can Mori them. That's whether they've had 1 hook, 2 hooks, or 0 hooks. You can kill the person on the ground. I managed to get 2 Moris in my 4K game, just so you know. And it lasts until the totem is cleansed. This is incredible. Honestly, Devour Hope can absolutely ruin a good game if a game's going and they are managing to protect Devour Hope. The game can snowball as soon as Devour Hope kicks into action. It encourages the killer to leave the hooks, so it is good for balance as well, I guess. And it can be absolutely terrifying. It forces the survivors to get off gens and to go and find that totem. Um, I think it's incredibly strong. But the downside is if they clean the totem, you've lost your perk. The Hag's second perk, everybody has seen at least once. If you play at least a handful of Dead by Daylight games in a day, you're going to come across the second perk, and that is Hex Ruin. Hex Ruin, often called Fizzy Gens, means that when you come off a generator and leave it, it starts to regress itself at 150% of the default regression rate.
I hate that one so, so much. It's the worst one. If I touch a gen and and I see it starts to digress as soon as I'm going to find that totem. I'm not
Yeah,
touching a gen before that totem have been found.
and it can ruin a game because if a survivor, if all the survivors suddenly start doing that, which often happens, and you don't find that totem and it stays up, you've got no generator progress at all for like 10, 20 minutes.
And I know sometimes it's just a waste of time because you could be lucky and be able to do a gen, but oh my god, I hate it.
And yeah, it will stay until the hex is cleansed. Now, interesting. We have some trivia on this one. The first iteration of Hex Ruin changed how skill checks worked. And this is what I was talking about at the start. So they used to have a unique black and red color scheme, which is different to it's currently black and white. So you used to get red skill checks. If you hit the skill check in the good skill check zone, it would regress the generator by 5% and pause progression. Wouldn't notify the killer, but it would cause the generator to spark. If you hit it in the great skill check zone, you would get no progression bonus, but you could continue to repair uninterrupted. And if you missed the skill check, you would get a 10% progression penalty and you'd notify the killer as normal. That's kind of interesting. It's not a massive change, but actually, that is kind of mildly interesting. You're getting a slightly different skill check test. And it's better than the fizzy gens that we get right now. This is so, so powerful. Gives you lots of early game pressure. It forces survivors to go and wander around the map and do a secondary objective, usually. And you don't have to go around and kick gens. The gens are doing all the work for you. And in my game, I got a 4K because they simply couldn't get on the generators anymore. They had to run around and yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
amazing.
I just thought I'd let
Good
you know.
job.
The Hag's third perk is Hex the Third Seal. You see this occasionally, and it's hard to kind of tell when it's happening. But basically, the last four survivors, in terms of the third level, third seal, the last four survivors that you hit with a basic or special attack are permanently blind. They suffer from blindness. What that means is they can no longer see auras. So if another survivor is downed, they no longer know where the downed survivor is. If they're on a hook, they don't know where the person on a hook is because they can't see the auras. They can't see auras of generators if they have something like deja vu, and that will last until it's cleansed. This is horrible. This is horrible. I think everybody generally has at least one information perk in their build, either whether it's a bond or whether it's a deja vu, and it ruins that. It's super strong in solo against people who are playing in solo queues because everybody's running some kind of information perk. And it's super strong because somebody goes on hook, and if you're not seeing where that bubble pops up when they first hooked, you have no idea on the map where they're going.
I have a question. So if I get affected by that hex and I have Bill's pack, which allows me to see hatch,
Hmm.
would that also be?
Yep, it
Oh
ruins
wow.
that. Yeah, it ruins that. So the hex needs to be cleansed. And
That's
again,
pure evil.
in my game, I
Yeah?
got a 4K. There was only
Wow.
one person that I hadn't hit, which was Alara. She was the person who lasted the longest. She was getting the most unhooks and things, and she could see obviously where the generators were, I think. But as soon as I'd hit the Lara and all of them were hit, it was an easy 4K ride from then on.
Good job.
So, some builds that you might want to try. The classic web hag, put lots and lots of traps around in a big old web. That's what you're kind of looking to do is to map out a clock face on the map with lots and lots of traps. Run corrupt intervention to force the survivors away from those first gens. Run devour hope. Run hex ruin, and maybe some sloppy butcher. Um, you're gonna just be protecting your hooks and hoping for a snowball at this point. When you put someone on a hook, put a couple of traps down and protect that hook. Or maybe you want to try basement hag. That's another interesting thing. Maybe take agitation, monstrous shrine, and pop some fun traps around basement. There's a lot of basement traps out there. Maybe try a basement hag build. Lots of traps down the steps, lots of traps downstairs, and make it a bit of a no-go zone. Or maybe you want to play a bit of totem roulette. Take devour hope, take hex ruin, and take undying to protect one of your totems, and take pentimento to add a little bit of extra fun to all of those totems. They'll be cleansing, you'll be relighting, you'll have lots of fun, and you'll have lots of hex, chaos, and pressure. The hag is not particularly beginner friendly. It's all about positioning. You kind of need to know the maps and a bit of psychology on how survivors move. So it can be very specialized. And if you're doing things like hook defense, putting traps down by the hooks, it can get a little bit sweaty on the hag side. She's very slow in chase, but she's quite oppressive if you can get those traps out there. If you have impatient teams who just want to get to do the objectives and will run over the traps, she's quite effective. But if you are against a team where they're clearing the traps efficiently, you are going to struggle quite a bit. She rewards patience and foresight and big old macro control over the map over any kind of flashy mechanics. Any personal stories of the hag? Any memorable hag games?
No, not really. I think it's just so rare that I see her.
Yeah. She is one of the killers that can terrify me, especially if I haven't realized it's the hag, and then
Mm,
suddenly you're running and you just get a like a muggy
yeah.
thing pop up in front of you. Or even worse, you run over like 3 traps together at the same time. It's like the first ones that you've seen in the game, and suddenly you've got 3 hags around you. That is shit scary. I
Yeah,
hate it.
I
I hate it.
agree.
And the other thing about a hag, Devour Hope, it stresses me out. Every time we get to that point where Devour Hope, everyone's exposed and we're running around looking for that totem, it stresses me the heck out.
Yeah.
We actually had one recently. I don't know, you possibly don't remember, but I think I remember because I was the one on hook. And I was begging not to be unhooked because I knew that if I was unhooked, it gave them the 5th token so they could then kill everyone instantly. And then I don't think any of you lot unhooked me, and then somebody else who were playing with unhooked me.
Oh.
Yeah. It might have been on stream, actually, I can't remember, but I remember I
Maybe.
remember begging that I wasn't gonna get unhooked. I don't know. Every week, we like to pick out a creator in the Dead by Daylight space. And this week we have picked out Sammy MJ. Sammy MJ is a Dead by Daylight streamer on Twitch. They go by the name Sammy MJ, all one word. They were a Fog Whisperer. They're a Twitch ambassador as well. And they are a killer main. Sammy MJ is lovely, raided over there a few times. Just a lovely vibe, a wonderful vibe. Another UK streamer. And yeah, just really, really nice. Do you know Sammy MJ? Do you remember
No, I don't.
raiding over there? Yeah, they're super cool. They do a bunch of cosplay streams and things.
Oh, I'll definitely go check them out.
Yeah, you should. You definitely should. They are super sweet. They tend to do Mondays through to Fridays, so it's not weekend streams. They are kind of afternoon into early evening streams in UK time. There will be a link in the show notes as usual. Lemon, who is next week's episode about?
You know who it is.
Tell me, say the name.
You know.
Say the name.
So for those, I know you can't see us right now because we only do the audio version for now, but Dogbomb is dressed as the person we're going to talk about next week, and he is smiling all over his face right now. So we will be talking about Ace Visconti.
So glad you said that, though. You could have said that Dogbomb's dressed up as the person and then said, we're going to be talking about the clown next week. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, can we retake this stuff?
No. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Ace, my main.
Yes.
I'm excited to talk about Ace for various reasons. I actually don't really know his backstory other than a tiny bit, so I'm actually excited to hear about it.
You will next week know a bit more.
I'm excited. As a reminder, we do have a website, beyondcampfire.com. If you want any links to any of the platforms that we are listed on, or you want to follow our socials. And as you heard at the start of today's stream, we are now going to be answering the questions that we're asking at the start of the stream. So if you want to be on and featured on next week's stream, we're going to need the answers to these questions, folks. First question from Lemon. Lemon, do you have a question for us this week?
I do.
Tell me.
I really want to know if people think that the hag is dry or slimy.
Slimy. I'm sorry. I shouldn't answer until next week.
Next week.
I shouldn't answer until next week. But I just want to say
we don't agree. But
I just want to say, and this is not my answer. I just want to mention that the chapter is called, remind me, Lemon?
Flesh and Mud.
Flesh and Mud, and that they are mud phantasms that come out of the ground. I just want to say that before people leave a comment.
Wow.
My question is based on the PTV that's coming out this week, which has a really cool map. And my question is, what is your dream map location? If you could put a map into Dead by Daylight, and we've got all kinds of things. We've got things from the past. We've now got a futuristic looking map coming to the Dead by Daylight universe. What would be your dream location? Maybe from another video game. I don't know. Have a think and let us know. I would be very interested. And while people are rifling through the maps in their mind to come up with their dream location, remember, play safe out there and don't get